Hey everybody, and working on this fairing, and one of the things Van says is you can put a light inside, which I did, and line up the holes. And I tried that with this one. It didn't seem to work out very well. So actually I've been using my strap duplicator, pulling it as tight as I can. It looks like it's going to work out okay, but just figured I'd share this as a quick update. Obviously I still need to trim it, but you kind of get the gist of where it's going and getting all these in the right spot, and then of course you screw them down. So anyway, so there it is, all drilled, attached, pretty good anyway. Bit of a gap here, but I don't know, I'll have to see what I can do with that. Maybe just a little filler. The rest looks pretty good, all drilled out. I checked my scribe lines, make sure there's no interference, so they should be all good. All along here, no cleco in this, but that one's been done as well. And you got to trim this off so it's flush with this, so that looks pretty good. And then this side, the one thing that's a little different, you'll notice here, you see the little bit of lift here. On this side, it's not as bad. And that's because when I tried to do this first hole just by the light, this wasn't quite flush. And so when this got drilled, this actually had a little bit of a gap. So when you put cleco in, it pulls that side over. So I don't know, I might just put something in there to just fill it. You can see it up there in the little bit of a bulge, right? On this side, it doesn't have it. So just something to play with a little bit, but overall, not too bad. And now I need to trim it all up. And of course, there's another strip, which is somewhere in my pile. Yeah, I'm not sure where it is right now, but there is a strip that you actually have to do next, which means you've got to take off the horizontal and vertical stabilizer, but it's the piece that goes on in along here and fills in that gap under here that you see. So that's next up, but now it's trim this, and also you got to put nut plates on a bunch of these, so that's a lot easier if this is not up here and laying down flat. Here it is with the fairing in place for the left and the right side. Also, I have the lower gap seal you can see in the picture. It's missing the little rubber gasket yet, but you kind of get a gist of what it's going to look like. So working on the fairings for the horizontal vertical stabilizer, one of the things you have to do, I've got it taken off right now, but you end up putting these bottom gap seals in. You drill those out, which I've already done, and then you go and tap these out for a screw. So I've got that done. You do the same here. You actually put the plate in and drill through and tap them out as well. I'm not sure what you do with this one yet. The instructions are not clear. I think it just requires a nut plate on it, and the outside fiberglass clamps onto it. I'll show it later. But back here, you'll see you've got to put a nut plate in here. So this is how I do it. The easiest for me is I take it, put a screw through it, put the nut plate on here, drill it out, put a cleco in it, drill it out. And I do it on this side because it's easier to get to, and then I can deburr later. And then of course, because you can't dimple this, you're just gonna countersink them. You're just gonna machine countersink those. But this is the piece, and then you can see here the holes, and they've been tapped. And then you need to put nut plates on here, here, and up here. And then you've got to do the same thing with the horizontal and vertical stabilizer. As you can see here, there's a number of holes that have been drilled to match. And so these are all, I think, number 6 screws. But basically what I need to do now is put nut plates on all of these. And the same with the vertical, there's a bunch of nut plates that got to go on there. But this, at least you can dimple. The other ones you cannot, or at least I think you can dimple these. For the most part, it seems like it's not going to be a problem. Anyway, I figured I'd share that. There we have it. all the nut plates put in, all set to go back on, and torque it down yet again. And then I've got the nut plate on here as well. Still don't know what to do with this one yet. I'm gonna figure that out. But for the most part, it should be pretty good. So I'll put this back on, that way I can get it out of the way and I can work on the vertical stabilizer where I need to do the same thing with the nut plates. Continuing on with the fairings, I did sand this down a little more, get rid of the formed edge on it, clean up a little bit. And this is the plate for the FlyLed tail light. And so basically what I did is drilled out, cleat coated, and then you'll notice I've drilled 2 holes, one on each side. These are for the wires that go down through and some extra space it needs as it goes in there. I'm gonna cut out the center, but I figured I'd cut those first. That way those 2 holes, nice and simple, just get a bit the size of basically the groove that's there, drill it out, and now I'm just left with drilling out center, which should be pretty straightforward. I'll do another update when I'm done. Oh, and by the way, these up here, these are the screw holes, top and bottom. So I'll have to drill those out underneath as well, but that should be pretty straightforward too. Cheers. So here we have the tail section on. I can see a couple of spots here where I dropped the bucking bar. Oh well, little dimples here and here. Picky. But here's the fairing on. It's already countersunk, so that's done. I put the rudder on as well, and as I was putting on, I realized, oh, I hadn't attached my rudder stop, so I need to do that still. But you can kind of get an idea. And on the top, the fairing is pretty much done. I need to rivet it on. But other than that, and then down on the bottom, this is prepped. I have this drilled out already. This is where the tail light goes. I have the tail light. I just primed the piece that goes on here. I'll rivet that on, and then that'll be closed up. I just got to figure out how I'm going to run the wire. So I'll run a twisted pair. That way I don't have to, a shielded twisted pair. That way I don't have to run multiple wires. So what I'll do is I'll run that through here. I'll have a connector somewhere and have it come in. I just got to figure out, how do I bring it into the plane? And obviously this space down here is wide open. I've got a couple of places, but I want to drill through there. So just got to kind of figure that one out as I go through it. I was going to put on the elevator and be done with that. You can see here, this is the electric flaps. So that's mounted inside as I've gone through this. I still need to finish these off, but I need to put the elevator back on. But Vance has a SB on these. And what you need to do is you need to take all these rivets out, and then you're going to get the tank sealant and you're going to squeeze it, a bead of it, down alongside the rib, I guess it's a spar, whatever, in here, so that you don't get cracking. That was one of the things people were talking about. So you have to do that. So you take these apart, open them up, get a gun, squeeze it in there, you make a little tube and shoot it in there. So I figured I could skip it and do it later and wait until something cracks. But I figured now that they're nice, why wait? This way I can do it, prevent it, and then I don't have to worry about looking and checking for it in the future. So I don't know when I'll do that yet, but that's on my list of things that need to be done. But there you go. You can start seeing it's the tail of it's coming together here. And I haven't attached the rudder pedals yet, but you can see here's where it comes out. I need to do that yet, so I'll attach those. This can't stay on. I need to take it off, I'm guessing, because when I go to put the elevator on, I really need to have the room in here to be able to tighten it down. I'll see, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need to do that. And so the vertical stabilizer is not permanently attached either.